Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I'm the Strategy Professor. Today we're doing a coaching session. So thanks to Shy Cooper here, we're going to be looking at a Kayle top game. Now, Shy said that he is not, he's just learning Kayle, so he doesn't know a ton. So take it easy on him in the comments as much as possible. This is patch 9.6. I am streaming this as well, so you might hear me talking in the stream some also. Okay, good. Took Klepto. I myself am not like a super Kayle expert. I have, analyzed her. I've watched some games with her. I've had her on my team a lot. I haven't actually personally played as sort of the new Kayle though. So keep that in mind. Shy Cooper knows this. He's just looking for sort of my input on this game. So keep that in mind. If you would like a coaching session yourself, you can always email me at thestrategyprofessor@gmail.com. We can set that up. It's just $25 on stream, $20 off stream. If you're a channel member, it's $5 discount. You can, if you want to learn how to become a channel member to support the channel, it's just like a Twitch sub. It's like $5 a month, less than $0.25 a day to support good quality content on YouTube. And you get to come out and play with us every Sunday if you'd like. You get to join our members-only Discord, and you get that discount on coaching or guides. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a hard lane. Just try to trigger, like, I would just go ahead and trigger Corruption, and see if you can just use an E on him or whatever. Just do a little bit of extra damage to him while you're healing up with your mana. Get a Klepto proc. Right, doesn't your E, like, isn't it, like, ranged and triggers on hits? Yeah, I feel like I would definitely take E earlier, because that's your main, like, way to trigger Klepto. Unless I'm misremembering something about that ability, but it's like her long range, like 8-second cooldown, cast stuff on him. So yeah, try to use your E to harass here. There you go. Yeah. No, you might kill you here. Run. Alright, I mean, you got it. But it's almost certain that Kha'Zix had it there, and it was kind of a risk. His Q was probably about to come back off cooldown. He doesn't have Ignite, so I guess it's pretty low. People are still debating in chat. I was suggesting that Soraka needs some changes to distinguish her from Sona, because Sona outperforms her right now. Most team fight settings at most elos. Yeah, I mean, stats don't matter all the time, guys, but, like, they are one sort of, they're one piece of data that you would combine with reasoning. Okay. Thanks, Holy Thumb. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think you max. Pretty sure you max E. EQ, then W. Now, a lot of people disagree about Kayle builds, and there are a lot of builds on Kayle that can work out there for sure. I think that Blade of the Ruined King plus Gensu's is the best one, and then you have options at third item. But in my DPS test, right when she came out, that was by far the highest single target DPS build. Was Blade Gensu's. And also it gives you sustain. You get a Vamp Scepter in the laning phase, which helps out some. I think it's pretty good. I mean, Nashor's is fairly popular too. Nashor's does give you the AP early, so you can kind of all in. It gives you CDR. Like, it just, Nashor's feels better as a single item, but it just does a lot less damage when you're at 2 items. So I just feel like you're not going to hit your power. Like, your single item is probably a little bit better than Blade. But, don't chase this too far. Chase this some here. But, yeah, you're going to lose a lot of CS at the tower if you stay for too long. So you lost the cannon chasing that. Maybe you get back for it. No, you lost it. So that's rough. Well, I don't know, Doug. It's fine, man. I mean, I've got a lot of specifics that I've argued time and time again about problems with Soraka versus Senna, but that's fine.
Blue team double kill.
There's a lot of data to support that. But anyways, it's all good. Hard shove the way there so Teemo couldn't freeze the lane. Yeah. Possibly. I mean, especially because you had Kha'Zix's top side. The problem is, like, Teemo, like, it's hard to stop Teemo from freezing as Kayle if he wants to. Because he can, you know, if he puts those mushrooms out there, he can thin the wave out and then freeze it outside of his tower. Teemo's kind of letting you get away with this lane, honestly. He's not pressuring very much. He's still up like 10 CS. But yeah, like that, where he thinned it out too much there. But if he would have curated that a little bit better, he could have got it to like right here. Yeah, people are suggesting Doran's shield. Yeah, that's a good idea too. I mean, I think corrupting's like okay, but you know, you're not really leveraging your mana. If you're gonna go corrupting, you need to like, the trick is you start your potion, and while it's ticking, then you at least go up for a couple of Q harasses, so that you get some value out of the damage on corrupting. If you're not really getting damage value out of corruption, then yeah, Doran's is probably better. Doran's shield, that is. So yeah, if you're just kind of learning it, you're not aggressively like taking good trades, then yeah, probably just Doran's shield. So some good advice from the chat there. Can you still E him when he blinds you? I assume probably not, because it counts as an auto attack component, so that makes sense. Also, if you're gonna take Klepto, you really need to like actually like use the Klepto. Like how much? Let me see how much value you've gotten out of Klepto. I don't know if we can see in the client.
Shut down.
Yeah, push, 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 push. Just push. Don't rotate. It's going to be too late. Just push. Yeah, you should have just pushed your lane in and just made him pay a price. Like, if you're late on a rotation, you know, it's not great, but it's okay if he misses something. Like, if you push him in a tower and he misses a wave, you know, that's going to be somewhere, you know, probably in the neighborhood of like 90 to 100 gold. And he loses like half a level of experience, half to a third of a level of experience. But, you know, because you rotated down there and then rotated back up, then he really didn't lose anything. He didn't pay a price for that. Yeah, if he sees you use that on the minion wave, he's going to come up and harass you hard, so. I mean, this is a really hard lane for Kayle, I think, early on. Like, he's not applying as much pressure as he could, but... He took Grasp instead of something like Airy, which... seems questionable to me. I think Airy's so good on Teemo still. I'm pretty sure you can still, in many cases, double trigger it off of his poison. He's rotating down on the Kha'Zix, so you need to ping that, and you need to hard push this right now. They're trying to hunt down the Kha'Zix. No, 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 push it. I would hard push this in. You gotta force him to come back to lane. You can't let him start roaming without consequences. You are hanging in there CS-wise, which is nice, but he's getting some good looks at roaming. He didn't convert anything that time, but he got a free look. You don't want to ever give him anything free. There always needs to be a price if they do something. Yeah, Kayle's wave clear is tough, as people are pointing out in the chat, until she gets her range. You got ult here. Obviously, you want to wait till he ults. Yeah. No. Okay, good. Nice. That sucked. It would have been cool if you got a hit on him, but I thought you did that very well. No, that's fine, Holy Thump. Yeah, if you want to throw some extra suggestions in there, that's great. Sure.
Red team has slain the dragon.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of a hallmark of like a lot of high-end players is they make people pay for everything. Like there's nothing free. You want that CS, you're taking an auto attack. You want to roam, you're losing waves. You want to back, you know, you're losing waves. You lose tempo in a lane, you know, you're gonna lose map pressure. You drop vision, they're gonna punish you for it. They're gonna go get an objective. They're gonna rotate. They're always looking for ways to make you regret your decisions. Try not to walk in bushes. That's just a tip against Teemo in general. Like, don't walk into lane bushes because that's like the most common place he'll put. Like, the most common place Teemo will put shrooms is obviously in the bushes, but then around the corners of walls. Because that's where minions don't go. Like, the safe place to walk is like right through the middle of the lane because minions clear it out, typically. Minions are most likely to clear it out right there. This Teemo is actually going the smart build. Usually, like, Leandri's or Luden's is the best. It's like the Teemos that go Blade of the Ruined King and that type of stuff are the more questionable Teemos.
Rampage. Red team.
Now, if you're watching this in the future, he might get reworked to where his on-hit is better. But for right now, his AP build is the best. AP with emphasis on shrooms. So Luden's is nice because it adds extra poke, you get the 20% CDR, you get the extra mana, all of that's very good for him. But Leandri's does a ton of extra damage with the shrooms. And his dot damage. So.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
See, he dropped one right here. So yeah, just be very careful walking along walls and things like that. He's just pushing into you. Like, he should be trying to freeze you out. He's kind of behind. Sort of. Yeah, I think you should be looking for more active trades if you're going to take Klepto. I do think that Klepto is the best build, but at the same time, if you just kind of want to passively farm it out, or if you know you're going to have a really tough lane and you just don't feel comfortable trading with it, then it just takes something like Lethal Tempo. But it's like, yeah, Klepto's really strong, but only if you actually use it a lot, you know, in the laning phase. If you're just not comfortable with it or that just doesn't suit your playstyle, you can always go lethal tempo, which is scale for late. It's definitely still, like, a pretty good rune on her. Fleet's okay.
Red team has slain
I still
the
think
dragon.
Doran's shield with a Bork Rush and like lethal tempo, and then Gensu's after that is probably.
Killing spree.
I don't think I'd follow you on that one. I don't think I'd build Maul first. That's a bit overkill. I mean, you could get like Merc Treads if you want, or you could take some extra like magic resist in your runes, but I think Maul just does not scale enough. I'd go bottom. Yeah, I mean, he came up here for whatever reason, just because that's kind of the standard. People just, like, automatically switch lanes when the first tower goes down. Yeah, the bot lane is Rakan Zyra. I guess that's fine. I would have maybe switched with him, though. I think you can farm easier against Ezreal, and you probably can Teemo, but...
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Maw does give an AP shield, but it's just... I wouldn't do it. If you want to get something like that for later, you could get a null magic right now, and then after you complete Gensu's, you could get Wit's End, and that would probably be alright.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Gives you a great chunk of magic resist, lots of attack speed, and has awesome synergy with Gensu's. Like, I think it's a really underrepresented item on Kayle, especially in AP matchups. It's very, very strong. You even see Vayne sometimes get Gensu's. Like, anyone that gets, or obviously she gets Gensu's, but get Wit's End. Anyone that gets Gensu's, like, just getting the extra trigger of that 42 damage and how fast it stacks up the Wit's End passive is pretty crazy. The thing about buffing Wit's End, too, I was like, I think people just don't get it. I think it's very good in a lot of situations with many of the on-hit champs, so I hope they don't buff it too much because, like, I think it's already pretty legit. Oh man, you know how like nasty that would be with Urgot versus AP with his W also? I wasn't even thinking, I was thinking like the damage when I talked about Urgot in the last patch notes, but you would like almost instantly stack up the full magic resist too. The problem is, like, the attack speed's worthless on him, so I think that's ultimately why I didn't want to go for it, but that is a really cute interaction. Does an extra 22 damage per bullet and gives you, like, almost instantaneously, like, 30 extra magic resist. And drains everyone else of their magic resist. Like, I don't know, maybe. It does have some survivability. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Against AP, maybe it's alright. But anyway. Back to the task at hand here. Yeah, everyone's just up here, you know, I guess it's just pretty much been a farm off so far. With some interspersed ganks from Kha'Zix. But yeah, I feel like if you want more magic resist, I don't know that I would fully get like the whole wits early, but I think you can get a null magic and that'll help out some. If you had to, you could even get like Mercury Treads plus null magic, but he's really not that effective. And he's not an all-in burst champion either, so if you just had lifesteal, if you just had Blather and King, or I don't know what you took for your secondary, but if you had like Taste of Blood or Ravenous Hunter or anything like that, that could help you sustain. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look at Maw again. I just really don't like rushing a defensive item like that, like a full defensive item. Once again, if you want to get parts of something, like a null magic, or even like a Negatron. I don't remember if Negatron goes into wits anymore or not. I have to go look at it again, but... I wouldn't go all out. I think it's just too much gold. And Teemo's like not even doing that though. Like he's 1 in 5, you know, like, and everyone else on their team is AD. So it's not like they have triple AP and they're all fed. So sometimes you gotta keep some context in mind too. I was about to say, I'd ult him just to be safe. Like, he probably had it without the ult, but I would go ahead and do it. Just make sure Ezreal doesn't burst him out. Wow, Kha'Zix is 16 and 2. Okay. The 20% CDR on Nashers, like, it is really nice. Like, you get more ults, you know, you get to use your abilities more. Nashers definitely, you know, can be a good item. Oh, it was to steal the kill? Okay. I mean, I'll have to look, yeah, but I'm not necessarily the stats. I'll have to do like a cost analysis of it. To me, it seems like it's something that you probably don't want most of the time. Yeah, I can't do all that math in my head right now, though. It just slows down the rest of your build. Like, it doesn't... Like, Blather and King, even Nashers to a lesser extent with Gensu's because of the, you know, the extra on-hit interactions. It has really, really good scaling. And both of those have a lot of attack speed, which is really strong with Kayle's on-hit interactions that she has, and then also... you know, just scales super well into the game as she starts transforming. So the fact that Maw, I don't believe, has any attack speed on it is a really huge problem for Kayle. Yeah, but I don't think you need it against Teemo. I understand what you're saying, that you don't get it. I'm saying I wouldn't get it against Teemo also. Like, I think that, you know, if it's a really rough, like, lane, you could potentially even go, like, Mercs into Null Magic, or, you know, if it makes sense, you can even go Megaton. Once again, this Teemo was like 1-3 in the laning phase or something, and they have no other magic damage on their team. Like, it's literally 80 jungler, 80 mid. So, like, the magic resist, yeah, it's okay against Teemo, but it's not that great against their overall team. I think that this build is fine. That Shy win. You know, the only thing I would say is, like, try out Blader and King into Gensu's, especially in a tough lane where that lifesteal is good. It's a lot better single target. Lets you chase people down, but it doesn't give you as much utility. It doesn't have the CDR on it. So, you know, that is definitely a consideration. And it doesn't have AP on it, so you're going to have less burst, you're going to have less abilities, but you're going to do a lot more on hit damage. Hey, what's up, Derp? Thanks for the sub. I appreciate it. We're going to get back to rank after this. We're just doing a coaching session. I don't think crit Kayle is that great. I mean, yeah, I think that he can crit. But I still think the attack speed is going to be better than stacking a bunch of Zeal items on Infinity Edge. I mean, realistically, Kayle's so overpowered right now. You can probably just, like, build almost anything, and if you get to level 16, you know, you'll probably win. But as far as, like, just optimal play, I think that's, like, Gensu's second, and then something that has on-hit first, either Blader and King or Nashor's, depending on if you want more utility or if you want more raw, like, dueling power. I think that Blade gives more dueling power, and Nashor's gives more utility. Just instantly dead. The champion is so obnoxious when he's like that fed. I don't know about TMAT on Kayle. I don't know how that interacts with her range. Does it like turn off when she goes ranged and it only works when she's melee? Yeah, not Bloodthirster. Third. I think if anything, like Death's Dance maybe, because that at least heals you off of your true damage on your ult, where Bloodthirster doesn't heal off of true damage. So if you want, for some reason you want that type of thing, you can do that. You know, some people also go Gunblade. I think if you're going to go Gunblade, you need to get that first, just because like you're paying a lot for that burst active. That does damage off a Gunblade. And it doesn't scale that well as the game goes on. That does give you healing. It does give you AP and AD. So that's something that you see a lot if you're trying to play Kayle as burst, but I don't know. I think that's a little ambitious. I would play around a 2-item power spike for when she hits level 11. That's when I would. Ludens with Q-Max? I'm not sure about that. Yeah, I probably would have done, yeah, Blader and King, even 3rd item with the Gensu's. If you wanted the healing, is probably better. But Anyways, okay, cool. Well, I mean, that was just kind of like, you know, Kha'Zix had 20 kills and took over the game. But as far as like the laning phase, you know, I think we can learn a couple of things off of this. The Doran Shield was a good suggestion. I think that against Teemo, that's probably the way to go. Realistically, with Klepto, like, Klepto is very good, but if you're just not harassing a lot in the lane, if that's just not your style, or you're just not confident enough, you know, with that, you're still trying to learn some stuff with Kayle, just take Lethal Tempo. Someone said you could also take Fleet. Like, I mean, Lethal is extremely good on her, especially once you get your second item with the Gensu. So it gives you a ton of attack speed, and you have a lot of stickiness with your W. You can get on top of people and stay on top of them. So I think that's something worth considering. So, you know, Klepto is good, but if you're not actively, like, proccing it a lot in the laning phase, you're not getting a lot of value out of it. You need to be using it a lot if you're going to get it. So yeah, Doran Shield, consider switching to lethal if you're not going to harass a lot. Try to use your Corrupting Potion when you're doing something aggressive. So like when you're going to hit them with an E and go for a couple of E's and like a pretty good extended trade, that's when you want to use your Corrupting so that you're getting that extra value out of the damage on the Corrupting pot. If you're not getting value out of the damage, then yeah, I think that the Doran Shield once again could be a good thing. Nashers, you know, Nashers is popular. Nashers can work. It does, you know, it does scale pretty well with Gensus. Not as well as Blade, but it still gives you some scaling there, and you're mostly getting it for the CDR and the 80 AP, so that it gives you a lot of kind of early game utility, right? It gives you more ults, gives you more heals, you know, makes some of your like burst damage hit a little bit harder. And just make sure that you pressure the wave. Like, if that Teemo roams, you don't always have to go, like, follow him. Sometimes it's the best decision if you're just like, yeah, I'm going to be late. You know, I didn't notice he was roaming. I didn't, you know, follow him fast enough. So I'm just going to push into tower. You're still denying him, you know, at least 6 minions, usually into the towers. That's, like, around 90 gold or so. Maybe a little bit more. It depends on the, you know, if there's a cannon minion on it or not. But usually somewhere between like 90 to 150 gold. You can probably take a tower plate. If you just get one tower plate off of that, that's 180 gold. That's half a kill. And you're denying him 90 gold. So that's like a 270 gold swing. And you're getting experience. That almost covers a kill. Like if he gets a kill, that's 300 gold, right? But if you're denying him 90 CS and you're getting a tower plate for an additional, you know, 180 gold, starts adding up really quickly. Yours is also much more guaranteed, right? Like you can push it in, you can almost certainly get a plate if no one's there to stop you. It's not guaranteed he's going to get a kill if he rotates. So if he messes that up, if you know your ally flashes out or survives or something, then you win right there, and you get experience on him. So that's what I would do. Just don't feel compelled like you always have to follow. I know that teammates will ping you all the time and say, where are you? Why aren't you following? As long as you're doing something productive, as long as you're pushing in, getting a CS lead, getting tower plates, getting favorable back timings, all that kind of stuff, then you're punishing him. You're doing something good. So that's one thing to keep in mind. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, when the Rakan went top lane after they took bot lane, you probably should have rotated down to bottom immediately. I do think that switching sometimes is silly and doesn't always make sense. I think people just do that automatically when they get bottom tower. They just try to switch and go to top. Without really thinking about, like, you know, what's the dragon timer? Where's the scuttle spawning? Can we get more of an advantage by taking their jungle instead with our map pressure that we have when the tower's down? So, you know, sometimes you just have to play along, though. If they go up there, you should probably go down bottom. But, anyways, I think that's going to be it. So, thank you very much, Shy. You know, pretty good game overall. I think, you know, Kayle was very hard to lane against the Teemo. Teemo's very lane dominant. You know, he could have been pressuring you a little bit harder, but realistically, he was still doing pretty well, applying some pressure in there. So, he did a good job of surviving, scaling up. You know, making some good contributions down the line. But anyways, that's going to be it. Thank you very much. Don't forget, if you're watching out there, you know, like and subscribe. Come by, check out the stream sometime. It's around 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'd love to have you. We have an awesome, super friendly community. Happy to answer any questions that you have. I try to be as interactive with the chat as I can be. If you'd like a coaching session yourself, you can email me at thestrategyprofessor@gmail.com. Obviously, like, don't know, like, an absolute ton about reworked Kayle. You know, I've studied her a little bit. I've had her in my games. I haven't personally played her, but, you know, you can always donate for something that's more in my wheelhouse. You know, if you want to ask about supports and things like that, I'll have much more definitive answers and theories for you about that kind of stuff. But I can, you know, I can coach anything, right? I can do some of the research for you. You know, we can have a conversation, you know, with the stream, and I can give you some ideas to think about with it. So I think I can say something useful about anything that you send me to coach. But obviously, I'm going to be a lot more detailed in my knowledge of supports. But anyways, that's going to be it. Come by, check out the rest of the channel, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day.